Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here and welcome back to the railway. Of course the other week I did a video about servicing the Ringfield motor, so I thought it would be really nice today to do a review of something that has a Ringfield motor in it, so that you can see it in action. And I wanted it to be something that I've never looked at before on the channel, and I found the perfect thing, which is this gorgeous Class 35, also known as the Hymek, beautiful Bobo loco. And of course it does have a Ringfield motor in it, so you can see her up and running. Gorgeous British Rails livery, of course, in BR green. I'm going to get on with reviewing it today for you. So without any further ado, I'll get her straight up onto the white background and then you can see her properly. Okay, let's get on with it. So obviously, being quite a major steam lover, I don't tend to review that many diesels here on the channel. But to all the diesel fans out there, this one is certainly for you. So yes, a bit of something different, and even by my standards, this loco is an absolutely gorgeous one. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of information about it. So this is of course the BR Class 35, or Hymek as it's also known, and it's so named because of its hydraulic transmission, which is obviously part of the name. And there were 101 of these locos produced between 1961 and 1964, so quite a short production period there. And I suppose that sort of time frame makes them quite early locomotives as well, in the diesel period of course. And they were all withdrawn by 1975, so only a little over 10 years, and sadly there are only 4 left in existence that have been preserved. Which is a shame of course, but it's always nice that there are some preserved and that we haven't lost them all. And this particular model came from John of Chams123. He's loaned it to me. I think he said permanent loan as well, but you know, I will try and give it back one day because I don't like, you know, taking things for nothing. But you know, we help each other out, so that's not a problem at all. But yeah, what a gorgeous loco. Of course, being a steam lover, I do love the sort of authenticity of steam locos and the elegance that they bring. But this is a very elaborate loco, isn't it, even for a diesel? The livery is extremely elaborate. I particularly like the white around the windows. I really think that is a very striking feature. And of course it's not the only striking feature. You've got the sort of lighter green band which goes along the bottom, which is very pretty indeed. And of course you've got the white stripes which go around various grills and other windows. So a very interesting and elegant locomotive. You can see there the number there is D7097. I don't really know much about diesel running numbers, but there it is. And on the front there you've got IA20. And while we're around at the front, we'll just talk about it very briefly. It is quite a basic front to the loco. There's not a great deal of rivets, not that you'd really expect there to be, but it's still very elegant, as I said. There's a couple of buffers on the front there. Of course they won't be sprung, because it is quite an old loco now, one of the Hornby ones of course. But having said that, you have got all the usual glazed windows and such, but no interior cabs or anything like that, but that isn't a problem. Up on the roof then you've got quite a bit of moulded detail actually. The grille on there is actually very nice. It's certainly very finely detailed, and you've got you know, a fair amount of riveting and other bits of moulded detail on there, which do bring it alive a bit, especially for me when I'm looking down on it and when it's on the carpet. And you have got some moulded horns there as well, on the front and back. Presumably they're the horns, which make the classic diesel sound. Sadly they are just moulded on, they're not separately fitted, but that isn't a massive issue at all. And it still looks pretty good, you know, it's quite tastefully done, isn't it, let's say. Let's look at the actual bogies then. They're not massively detailed, but they are actually very nicely done. You can see the suspension springs there and various other moulded parts. And it doesn't need to be any more than that. You know, of course I love detail, and the more detail on a model the better, but it really doesn't bother me if it's quite simplified. And this is one of those models that you can just enjoy. Because a lot of modern diesels, and a lot of steam locos especially, they do fall apart in your hands, and it does mean that you have to always be thinking about where you're touching the loco and how tightly you're holding it. But with this one, the detail is just minimal enough so that you're not going to do any damage. And of course the paintwork is exquisite, as with most Hornby models. It really is very well done. If you look at the British Railways crest on the side there, it really is very finely printed, and you'd expect nothing less of course from Hornby. But yeah, a really smart locomotive, even down to the white handrails aside the doors. Really beautifully done. I really can't fault the loco, not on the detail, but just on the charm of it and on its similarity to real life as well. You know, if you just Google the Hymek or the Class 35, this model is just exactly right. You know, you'll know what I mean when you see it, but it just really captures the look and the feel of the loco, which is absolutely what you want. So I realise that's been quite a short review. Obviously there's not quite as much to look at as there is on a steam loco, but that isn't a problem at all because it means we can get down to running her pretty quickly. So I'm going to choose some rolling stock. She was a mixed traffic locomotive, I believe, so she would have pulled freight and passenger stock, so we'll have to see what I come up with on that. But yeah, for now let's go back onto the main railway and we'll give her a spin. Alright, so there's the Class 35 on the railway then, and just behind her, a little way up, I've got 6 intercity coaches. Now if you just pretend that they're the sort of BR Mark 1s or something like that, because they basically are, aren't they, just slightly different. So I thought that would be quite nice just to run those coaches, since they don't look quite as good with steam locos, so that's a nice idea. In just a second then I'll couple up to those. On the other track, as you can see, we've got another diesel, this time a Class 31, pulling some freight behind her, as you can see there. But this is actually an Airfix loco. Now as we all know, Airfix made some pretty poor steam locos, but this Class 31 certainly is a cracker. It really is good, immensely powerful, and it's got a really good motor inside it too. So I really like that one. So she's going to be running alongside the Hymek, but for now let's get her to do a little coupling shot. Right, to start off then, let's just rock her backwards and forwards a little bit so you can see what she's like at slow running. I won't take her too far from the camera because she'll drop out of focus. But yeah, she's very good at slow running, as you can see. Not bad at all. That is a Ringfield motor in there, like I mentioned. Right, let's couple it up then. Nice and gently does it. There we are, should have it. And yeah, let's take this lot off. Nice and slow to start with. It's a nice load for her. She does it without a problem, as you can see. Alright, let's get the 31 onto the job as well then. Okay, I'm just going to lean over, so I apologise now for the shakiness. Alright, nice gentle speed to start off with then. Various freight, as you can see. Right, let's get off around the room then, and let's watch them go. Alright, let's do it. I love it. I'm not normally a big fan on diesels, but gosh, these two are good, aren't they? Look at her go. Not a problem at all. Of course, the Ringfield motors can be a bit hit and miss, but this one's absolutely brilliant. Beautiful, isn't it? I think it's the livery that does it. It's just so interesting, and it is very much like a steam locomotive in some ways, isn't it? This is a bit of a mixed match of coaches, that is, but I guess they look alright together, don't they? Alright then everybody, I think that's just about all I've got to show you. The lovely Class 35 there, absolutely gorgeous. Might be one of my favourite diesels actually, just because it's so gorgeous looking. And of course the workhorse, the Class 31 there, with her freight. Also a very nice model from Airfix. But yeah, that's about it then. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it as always. And if you did, please give the video a like, or even consider subscribing if that's something you'd like to do. Otherwise, please check out the Facebook and Twitter pages at facebook.com/samstrains and twitter.com/samstrains. I'm always posting various pictures and updates and various layout operations, let's say, on there. So if you're interested in all of that, then please go and check those out. But for now, everybody, thank you very much for watching as always. It's very much appreciated, and I'll see you all very soon. Cheers, everybody.